Hello everybody, welcome to All Sports Weekly, episode 18. I am Trevor, and with me this week I have Aaron. Hey mate.
G'day, how you doing?
I'm well.
Very good.
You're back.
I'm back, part of the furniture now.
Mate, you're the 2IC.
Look, yeah.
How does it feel?
Oh, look, I'm just so grateful for the promotion. I feel like I've put in a lot of hard work and...
Yeah, well, unlike the NRL, this is not a dictatorship.
Yeah, yep.
So, I like to take on other people's opinions.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. we'll see about that, won't we?
Might be a spicy one tonight, guys. Let's just wait and see on that one. So everyone, obviously we're on YouTube. You can see us there. If you'd rather just listen to us, we're on SoundCloud, as you know. Just download the SoundCloud app and you'll find us under All Sports Weekly. Leave a comment down below if you'd like us to talk about anything next week, anything like that. You can find us on Twitter at All Sports Weekly and allsportsweekly@outlook.com if you want to write an email to me. Okay, mate. What have you been watching this week?
Well, I think we're going to get to a lot of what I've been watching this week.
Pretty full run sheet.
It is a pretty full run sheet.
Yep.
I'm excited by all the seam binnings and sending offs.
You are. We've had a little bit of fun prior to the show, right? So we will get to the NRL, but that's basically NRL.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm the same. I will say I've done a little bit of field research. I went to the Lions the other night, which we'll talk about.
Yep.
I caught the end of the USPGA. Now, I'm not a golf guy. I hate golf personally. But Phil Mickelson has won a major at 50 years of age.
Pretty incredible.
That is cool.
Yeah,
Oldest player to ever win a major. And I can't think of many other top tier sports where a 50-year-old can compete.
No.
That's something, isn't it?
No, maybe the cornholing championships, but...
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, you haven't lived yet, mate.
Really? Cornholing?
No, cornholing.
There's a whole other world out there, guys, I'm sure.
Waiting for the cornholing podcast.
Okay. I'm going to get out of that really quickly. Okay, so let's start with the AFL, okay? So round 10 has happened. It was a great round. It was close games, upsets and so forth. I feel like the cream is sort of rising to the top. Now, I did some All Sports Weekly field research. I went to the Gabba. Brisbane Lions 102, Richmond 74. Did you catch that one?
I did, mate. I did. Very impressive third quarter from the Lions to snag that win. So
Richmond looking beatable.
They are. You just wonder, like, the motivation. Like, is it just they're just going to hit, towards the end of the season? We're going to see the Richmond of old, or is their time done? Like,
Lions have won 6 in a row now, so on the run. Yeah. Carlton 86, Hawks 63. Geelong 91 beat the Suns 57. We had the Crows beat Melbourne by a point.
They've had a couple of big wins this year. Adelaide won against us as well.
And a very big drama at the end. Did you see the end of that game?
No, I did not.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Western Bulldogs absolutely mothered St Kilda 144 to 33, and that is a shellacking. And there's a lot going down at St Kilda right now.
Yeah, I think
they won an elimination final last year.
Yeah, I think coming into the season, a lot of pundits had them there or thereabouts.
I had them in the 8, but they're not. Fremantle 2-point win at home against the Swans, a pretty good win, that one. But he got 6 goals, but Fife kicked one at the death. Very good match. The Giants stuck firm 93 to beat the West Coast 77, who are flat track bullies at home and can't win away. Yeah. Spirited Collingwood performance 58 got beaten by Port by 1 point.
Prison Bar Cup.
Prison Bar Cup, yeah, and Prisoner with the fans too. No. Wait, let's not go there. And my beloved Bombers towed up North Melbourne 141 to 69, so that was good. Obviously North where they are, but you meant to win those games, and we did, so that's good. So just quickly, I've had a few people here on the couch talking about Richmond. We had some people who say, you just can't write them off, you just can't. And then I'm getting a little bit of other views of people saying, no, they're not where they used to be. Just quickly, are Richmond, do you think that they're not in the top 4? They're not in the grand final this year, they're not going to win the comp?
Look, statistically, they've got to make the top 4 to make the grand final. That said, I think on the fence, foot in both camps, I don't think you can write them off, but they certainly aren't the same as they used to be.
Yeah, that's right. They just seem to be... Teams are pressuring them.
Yep.
The contested ball, they're just not where they used to be.
No.
Dusty was pretty well marked the other night.
Yep.
So, okay. Now, just quickly, discussion about interstate teams in general. So, as I said, I went to the Lions and
Richmond
game. Don't worry about me. And I was just as I don't have a stake in that game, so I'm just observing it as a neutral.
Yeah.
Now, the fans were livid with the referee, right? And this is a pretty common theme with the Lions games, and it's a good parochial ground. Like this is what you want, right?
Yeah.
If you're an interstate team, you want to be an intimidating place, and you want your home fans to follow you.
Yeah.
The fans genuinely around me were like, we were robbed, right? They won the game by 6 goals.
Yeah.
The free kick count was 2-1 to Brisbane.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now just think about that for a second. And then look at the other game. Now this was the Melbourne lost their first game of the year to Adelaide. Now, at the end of the game, there was a deliberate out of bounds. This is what it's all about. So they're losing by 1 point. And the Adelaide defender deliberately there's no other way you can say it. But handballs it just past the point post into the thing. They've been paying that as deliberate every game for years. Referee just says, throw it in, right?
Okay.
So they're the ones you get at home. So you've got that home fortress, but then you've got all the travel. Every other week the Lions going to the side. So what do you think? Is it an advantage or a disadvantage to be an interstate team? If you were to sum it all up.
Look, I don't think it is either. To be honest, I think certainly having your home ground in Melbourne and playing 15 games a year there.
An advantage? But you're playing teams that also play there all the time.
Look, on paper, yeah, it is. But I think these guys are professionals. They're professional athletes. Mm-hmm. They plan for the travel. They know well in advance that they've got to travel. They have all the support in the world to get them through all of these perceived disadvantages. I don't think you can say it is a disadvantage, and I don't think they should.
No, and it's great to have that home field advantage for someone like the Lions. They do a good job of it. I was mentioning to you off air, so if there's something a bit contentious where the Lions might have been jibbed, they show it on the replay screen about 5 times.
Yeah.
I saw a few things there where Richmond were a little bit dudded. You don't see it. So it's not like they're just showing you the TV coverage on the screen where you're getting a bit of everything. You're getting a home version of it. And that's sort of really whips the fans are like, oh, wow.
Get the frenzy going.
Get it going, yeah.
Well, but the question is like if it's a Richmond home game at the MCG.
What do you get there?
Do they do the same thing? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. I just wonder, and that's the thing, right? Like just because all the fans are parochial. You're probably in the interstate games. We look
at West Coast at home versus West Coast away.
Yeah, 100%. And you probably get the parochial fans more in the interstate teams because there's not as much of a mix. Whereas if you go to the MCG, you're going to get Bulldogs fans, you're going to get Saints fans, you're going to get and of course Richmond home game, you're going to get more Richmond fans. But
okay. Just an observation, but the Lions are hard to beat at home, and they've won 6 in a row now. I looked at their home games. There's no big, more sort of top 4 teams coming up for a while. They look like they can win a lot of home games this year.
We've stumbled the last few years at the final hurdle. I think this has to be the year for the Lions if we're going to do it with this team, this coach.
There's a premiership up for grabs.
There is. Well, now there is. It's a lot more wide open with Richmond, and Geelong as well, kind of stumbling a little bit too. So.
And just quickly, mate, next week, Friday night, the cracking 9-1 Bulldogs against the 9-1 Demons.
Yeah.
Top of the table clash. 2 teams that haven't been up there historically in years gone by.
Yeah.
Who's going to win that one?
I think the Bulldogs. I think the Demons are going to kind of get found out. They're going to be one of those teams that start cracking and kind of fall off a little bit. But I think the Bulldogs.
The Demons fans were the most nervous fans for a 9-0 team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They've been scarred.
Yeah.
But I know it's going to be a great one on Friday night. Okay, mate, we're going to change to basketball. Now, you're my basketball guy. Now, I'm a part-time fan, but sure you're more heavily invested than I am.
Yep.
The NBA playoffs, mate, we're all happening at the moment. Now, on the Eastern... Have you seen any of these, by the way?
Yeah. Kept an eye on... I haven't seen full games, but bits and pieces. Kept an eye on the scores.
All right, so quickly, the first round is happening at the moment of the playoffs. Philadelphia 76ers are 1 game up against Washington. I did see a little bit of that. Ben Simmons playing fairly well, but he's not the star of that team, is he?
No, it's all Embiid. Simmons is up and down. You're going to get rocks and diamonds with him, and the problem is the rocks are really rocks and the diamonds are really diamonds. So I don't see this being a major problem for Philadelphia. I think they should get through the Wizards.
Through.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nets are beating the Celtics at the moment. So far, going to form. Now, this is the one that interests me. I know Milwaukee Bucks are a good team, right, seeded 3, towed up Miami. They're up 2-0 thing, and with your man there, Butler, I would have thought Miami would have had a bit more resistance.
Well, I think Milwaukee have a bit of a point to prove. It was Miami that knocked them out last year.
I think it was like 30 points.
They are talent up. Miami have really stumbled through the season, lots of injuries, and their play hasn't been as good. Okay. I think Milwaukee will get through this one quite easily.
Okay. And New York Knicks are losing. They've lost the first game to the Atlanta Hawks.
This is probably one of your biggest coin flips, the playoffs.
Yeah, okay.
These are two teams that weren't necessarily tipped to do very well this year. New York has certainly shocked a lot of people.
And the Knicks fans are desperate for some success, aren't they? They've been long suffering.
I think they're happy they've just made the playoffs.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, so that'll be an interesting one. Trae Young there has been killing it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, on the West, we've got Utah Jazz. They've lost the first game to Memphis.
Yeah, Memphis are a bogey team for a lot of teams.
They're ranked 8.
They are ranked 8.
But
Well, they made it through the play-in tournament.
That's right.
They actually finished 9th in the season.
So, all right. Okay.
Yeah. So, and
were you a fan? That was what I was going to ask you. Do you like the play-in? Because I understand it's exciting or whatever, but you've got a potential 10th place team that can make the playoffs. They play a lot of games.
Yep.
They play a lot of regular season games.
Yep.
And then you put it down to a bit of a lottery.
I'm disappointed with the NBA at the moment. That they have a sort of a problem that they're trying to solve in that there are a lot of games and a lot of games that are kind of meaningless.
Yep.
There's a lot of talk about a mid-season tournament at the moment that might actually get the go-ahead.
A cup of some sort.
Yeah. The play-in tournament is just another one of those things where it's just look, I don't know what they're trying to achieve. I think they're using the excuse that because it's COVID, because they had it last year as well, because it's COVID, it's a little bit all over the place. It's a shortened season, so this is a trade-off kind of thing, but I'm not a fan.
You're not a huge fan?
No, I mean, look, when you look at the playoffs, they're 7 games a series.
Yeah.
And this is just a one-off game.
That's right.
That can dictate how the rest of the
You finish in the 8th place and you lose one game.
That's it.
Yeah. I feel like that too. Now this is interesting. The Suns have beaten the Lakers, and the Lakers, they had the win and in game, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
Now obviously they've just been smashed with injuries this year. Can the Lakers do it? LeBron is playing right now.
Yeah.
Can they just come from 7th and just
they can.
You're not a fan of the Lakers, are you?
No, never really have been. A bit of tall poppy syndrome there, I think. But but yeah, look, the Lakers, they're one of those teams like Miami that they've sort of stumbled through the season a little bit. They got off to a cracking start, but injuries and form have kind of. And look, I think I actually would not be surprised to see Phoenix, do Lakers quite easily, maybe like a 4-2.
Yeah, right. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, well, that's they're a game down, so see how we go. Denver and my beloved Trailblazers are 1-1.
Yeah.
I'm a Portland fan. They just make up the nut. They make the playoffs each year.
Yeah.
But they don't do anything once they get there.
No, look.
Lillard can only do so much.
They've got a. Well, I mean, it's Lillard, McCollum. And Carmelo Anthony plays for them now, mind you, is at the twilight of his career. But this is another coin flip. It could really go either way. The Denver Nuggets were a come-from-behind team last year. I think they were down 3-1 a couple of times, leading into winning the series.
Go Blazers.
Yeah, sure.
But even if we do get through this, I'm aware we'll probably, go out pretty quickly. And Dallas are beating the Clippers 1-0 at this point, 1-0.
Clippers are probably the most disappointing team in the playoffs. They've got...
Really?
They've got Kawhi Leonard, they've got Paul George, they've got a stack of great bench players, but they're just not a team that look convincing at all. I actually think Dallas will beat the Clippers.
In years gone by, the East and West, the East have been much weaker.
Yep.
Is that the case this year? So look at, I use the 76ers as an example. They've the number 1 seed, let's just say they go through. Can they trouble the best in the West?
No.
Okay.
Look, I think
the
team to come, the 2 teams to come out of the East will either be Milwaukee and Brooklyn. Brooklyn are a super team, right? So on paper, they are the best team by far and away in the competition.
Okay.
But if you're looking at the 8 versus the other 8, certainly the West is still a stronghold.
The West is strong. And just stick your neck out, mate. Who's going to win the player? Who's going to win the championship?
Who's going to win? I hate to say it, I don't want them to, but I think Brooklyn will end up doing it. I think
you heard it first. At the farm, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. And you're a San Antonio Spurs fan.
I
Now, I keep looking for them, and they're not in the playoffs, mate.
Well, they made the play-in.
They did. They did. Yes. That's why you don't like it, eh?
Yeah. Look.
So what's... they've historically been great, but they haven't been up for a few years now.
No.
Still got your man, Popovich, haven't they?
Yeah, they do, and he's a quality coach.
Yeah.
Look, he's in his 70s now, so
Sure.
he won't stick around for much longer, I don't think. Look, they're in a rebuild, but San Antonio don't rebuild the same way the other teams do. They rebuild through the draft. They're actually it's quite a young team.
Yeah, they don't just go out and buy.
They don't go out and buy. And look, they potentially might shift a couple of their big name players this off season and get into the free agent market, but they generally build through the draft, and they've got a lot of good young players coming through.
Okay.
It's just going to take some time.
All right, mate. And while that's all happening, the NBL is going on. Now, I haven't caught much NBL. I mean, I've been meaning to get to a Bullets game and just haven't got around to it. There's a couple of games left. Melbourne United, top of the table, looking to secure the minor premiership. I think they need one more win to do that. Hot on their heels is the Perth Wildcats with Bryce Cotton, who is the best player in the league. Would you say that's pretty much universally agreed upon?
Look, certainly the best player in the last few years. Absolutely,
sure.
Yeah.
Is it just Melbourne and Perth? Is that it?
Yeah, I think
it looks to be.
It looks to be. Yeah.
You don't see anyone else coming up,
Not really. Look, Southeast Melbourne might snag a series against one of those teams, but outside of that,
there's 9 teams in the comp. How many make the finals? Is it 4?
I'm pretty sure it's 4.
I think that's what I thought. Yeah. So Bullets probably not going to feature.
No, they're just short of the mark at the moment. I think they need some results to go their way and to win every game from here. So,
well, we might keep an eye on the NBL in the future weeks and see how we go.
See how good my guess is.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's quickly talk about a bit of football here. So Manchester City have won the A-League Premier's Plate. They are now...
was that a slip of the tongue, or did you say... You said Manchester City.
Oh, sorry. Manchester City also won.
Yeah.
Owned by the City Group.
Yeah,
You can see Melbourne City, funded by Manchester City, have won the Premier's Plate. Just please excuse me, Freudian slip. And a bit of silverware for them in a club that hasn't really had much.
No.
And as we speak, at the time of filming, the Raw are playing City tonight.
Yep.
And we're kind of hoping that they're hungover because they celebrated pretty hard on the weekend.
Did they?
This is one of those games in lieu, COVID, catch up.
Yep.
And the Raw really need to win. So let's hope that City, their heart's not in it.
Yeah,
That's my hope.
Yeah,
It might be good timing to play them.
Look, it's actually been interesting. Obviously, City's kind of run away with it, but there's been a block of teams battling out for those spots in the top 6.
Central Coast, Raw.
Adelaide. Sydney.
And just quickly, while Melbourne City are winning the comp, the Melbourne Victory are 1 point off last, and the wooden spoon is still possible. There's still a few games for them to go. That's a big club that's coming last.
It's a significant...
or very close to last.
Significant fall from grace.
You think about the Postacoglu days and then the Kevin Muscat days, they're nowhere near that anymore.
No.
And it's a big club to be running so poorly.
Yeah.
The last game of the regular season is Melbourne City versus Melbourne Victory, and City could hand them that wooden spoon. That might be.
They'd love that.
They would love that, wouldn't they? Yeah. And look, some good feel-good news in the A-League was Wellington have finally been able to play a home game. It's their first time since COVID, 1.5 years. A good crowd, like 25,000 rocked up.
Yep.
The team also showed up, pumped Western United 3-0. The scenes were great.
Yep.
They all take their shirt off at the 80th minute if they're winning. There was a lot of... there were boobs. I saw there were a lot of blokes, but there was a lot of ladies. There was apparently the A-League's not real happy about it.
Okay.
But they look like they're having fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, great story. Let's hope that in the NRL, for example, the Warriors can get a home game and stuff.
I'd actually be interested. I don't know. There was talk a couple of years ago that the Phoenix were going to get kicked out of the comp. I wonder if that has changed.
I haven't heard that recently. And just looking forward, guys, we'll talk about this next week, but there's some big games coming up. The Europa League final is Thursday morning, which is from Poland, which is Villarreal versus Manchester United. The Champions League final is Sunday from Portugal, Manchester City versus Chelsea. And the richest game in football, which is the qualification to the Champions League, the Brentford Bees. I said they couldn't be. They've done it. They've come back and had a win. They're playing Brentford Sunday midnight. If it goes to a shootout, it's all over. Brentford's got a horrible playoff record.
Yeah, they do.
So
they do.
Be a big party in Brentford if they
It'd
get
be
through.
great to see if see them make it to the Premier League, though. That would be very cool.
It would. Now, quickly, I've got some rugby to chat about. I'm going to gloss over this fairly quickly. The Trans-Tasman
How long does it take to
competition.
say 0 and 10?
Yeah, not long.
No.
That's where we're at.
Yep.
So we're now 10 games into the Trans-Tasman. New Zealand teams have won 10. The points differential, the New Zealand teams are up 202 points.
In 10 games.
In 10 games. So the average margin is 20 points. So
Yep.
they're not, this week, Hurricanes 35, Rebels 13, Force 15, Highlanders 25, the Blues 48, the Waratahs 21, Chiefs pumped the Brumbies 40-19, and the Reds at home 28, Crusaders 63, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Any comment?
Oh,
Should we
it's
just keep moving?
This is Div 1 versus Div 2.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
There's a thing in the paper today, if we want to be the best, we have to play the best, we have to beat the best. I don't know about that. I feel like we had a lot more fun playing with ourselves.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound right, but you know what I mean. Anyway, look, there's just a stark It's chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll win one game.
Yeah, it's looking,
I wonder. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Surely.
Maybe a bit of complacency on the New Zealand team's part might
Yeah.
let us snag one or two.
Okay. Now, lastly, we're going to move to the NRL. Look, we've got a comment of the week here from Clayton H. Now, he's chatting about I was having a rant last week about the Broncos playing away games at home for Magic Round. Seems like I was advised by Jared to get over it. And Clayton
Sound
here...
advice.
Yeah, Clayton here says, it's hardly an away game when Tigers and Parramatta both play at Bank West. He's talking about like what we're talking about in the AFL.
Yeah.
Plenty of those examples for Sydney-based clubs. Move on, Trev. Much bigger things in league to worry about at the moment. So I've been advised once more to get over it. Maybe I'll take the advice on board.
Teaspoon of cement.
Just get over it, Trev, is what I'm hearing. So look, I won't mention it till Magic Round next year. Then I'll mention it. Don't worry. Now, Clayton there said there's much bigger things in league to worry about at the moment, and I agree. Rest in peace, Rugby League.
Wow.
This is what this is. It's over. Should we have should we have a service?
Didn't think you'd be involved in the cancel culture, Trevor.
Really?
Yeah.
Cancel culture. Yeah. Okay.
The outrage.
So last weekend, out of the 8 games, 6 of them had a sin bin in them.
Yep.
17 players were binned. Is Rugby League turning into OzTag?
No.
Okay.
No. Look, I think, like, I understand the outrage that exists right now. Look, you can't get change without a little bit of friction. And
A little bit of friction?
Yeah, I get it. There's a little bit of friction right now.
Yeah, there is a bit.
But, mate, something's got to be done. And what was happening before, you're not gonna. I've got a 4-year-old, and I can't wait an hour to say to him, "You've done the wrong thing an hour ago," right? He's not going to learn that way, right? So you kind of have to slap him on the wrist there and then.
Right.
So I think to get the change that's needed in the game around the head knocks, I think this needs to happen. Yeah.
So you're for all this change?
Yes.
So the game's better for this?
The game, look. From my point of view, I actually enjoy seeing this stuff because it makes it interesting. It could potentially turn games around.
It wasn't interesting before?
Oh, I'm not saying it wasn't interesting before, but you had to have a lot more head knocks before. Or you would have had a lot more head knocks before. I think this is a change for the future, right? It's gonna force everybody to get serious about this situation.
But the implementation is the thing that's copping. I don't think there's many people who think that we should have a sport where you can hit someone in the head. You'd be very hard to find those people.
Yeah.
But the way it's being implemented is very controversial.
I don't disagree with that. I just think, look, no matter how you implemented this, it had to be a short, sharp shock. because the players, the coaches, they weren't going to get on board without, and they never.
You couldn't have done this in a pre-season and given everyone a chance. Why did it have to be a short, sharp shot?
It would have been great to have it in a pre-season, but would you, like, we're talking about player welfare, right? So, like, are we going to say, okay, well, head highs and that are okay between now and the end of the season, but next year?
No, I think that obviously greater penalties. Like, if people who watch the show, I was banging on about this in round 2 or 3. I said that Kafusi getting 2 weeks was a joke.
Yeah.
So I'm all for that.
They should have done this earlier. They should have had.
But now we've gone from that
Yep.
to where Tedesco falls over into a guy, and the referee knows that.
Look,
but he can't use any discretion.
No, of
He's not
course
allowed to use any discretion. He can't say, look, that's just an accident, penalty.
Yeah.
He has to sin bin him.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
So we can't use any discretion?
Well, I think right now it's hard because then when you get discretion, you get people complaining about the consistency.
Sure.
Right? You know, and it's a bit of a damned if you do and damned if you don't. No matter what you do, everyone's going to be pissed off. So in that case, I think, I think you just go hard. You just go, this is the rule, guys, and you either get on board or you're going to get left behind.
So just to be clear, you're in favour of a situation where, so you're a tackler.
Yep.
A guy trips over his own feet, his head is here, and you accidentally hit his head. You're in favour of him, of in this case, you think you should be binned?
Look, this is an isolated thing, right? You're picking out a single isolated possible scenario.
No, well, it happens, and they're basically saying we're not going to use any discretion ever. That's what they've said. They've said that. They said, too bad.
Yeah.
So if, no matter what, there's no mitigating circumstances that we'll accept.
Yeah, so
that's an alternative to thinking.
I think the thing here is that the crux of what they're getting at and what they're doing, I agree with. There are going to be little things through this process that we're going to go, you know what, we need to tweak it here, we need to tweak it there, we need to tweak it here, right? These situations that pop up,
I don't see much tweaking.
Part of the teething issues.
Not much tweaking.
Oh, it's already happening, mate. It's already happening.
Okay, give me one example.
Oh, mate, I don't have examples.
Right. Okay. Well, just want one. But, nice.
But
okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the sport now. The Broncos have beaten the Roosters, right?
Yeah.
Now, in any other context, that's a great win. It is a great win.
Yeah.
Great for the Broncos.
Yeah.
But they're in the competition. The 2 competition points have been given to Brisbane, but in the minds of a lot of people, and I'm one of them, there's an asterisk next to that game.
Yeah, look, again,
You don't think so?
No, mate, no. I think...
So Roosters, for more than 60 minutes, were a man down. So, I know what you're... Well, you shouldn't hit him in the head.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of times he didn't really.
Yeah, look, I get that.
Yeah.
And look, at the end of the day, this is new for the referees. This is new for the players, right? There's going to be teething issues for everybody, right? People are going to make mistakes through this process, right? I think we just need to be a little bit more forgiving of the situation and not have this level of outrage that's like, oh, the game's ruined. It's 2 weeks.
So what's State of Origin going to be like?
I don't know, but they kind of need to do this, mate. I don't see how this shit needs to be stamped out, right? It's for the future of the players playing the game and the future of the game itself. And I know that we're all going, it's turning into OzTag, it's turning into touch football. And what does the future mean? Because there's going to be less contact and all of this sort of stuff. I don't know how true that is. But I can tell you right now, like, as a parent, I'd rather my boy play soccer than rugby league. And there are a lot of parents like that. And if no one plays the game, then there is no game.
Participation rates are very slightly down, very slightly, over about a 10-year period. But that's probably all sport. I mean, kids
it is.
You know,
but their participation rates, they actually, because the Rugby League owns OzTag and owns Touch now, so they include those numbers into the participation rates.
We've got a lot more to talk about. Okay, this isn't going away.
No. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
1 hot minute.
All right, bring it.
Is the standard of refereeing in the AFL an issue?
I think it is at the moment. Yeah, it's not very often you say that. The referees in the AFL are usually,
Can the Broncos back up their win with a good performance versus the Storm?
No.
Who will be the next NRL coach to be sacked?
Oh, that's a good one. Who's 15th at the moment?
You're out of time. Who is the most promising college NBA player this year? Who's going to be number 1 in the draft?
I actually don't know. No.
Will Rafael Nadal be beaten in the French Open?
No.
And should the Olympics be happening in this year?
No.
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 Okay. Once again, guys, bang out of time. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, mate.
And everyone, nice to see you again, and hope to see you next week. Thanks very much.